Have you noticed that physical real slot machines are leaving your casino? One trip, they're there. Then on your next trip, they're not. What are casinos doing with them? Several things, which I'll go over shortly. And of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. Hello to you watching this recording on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, my Facebook profile page, or listening later to the audio on a podcast episode. Thank you for being here and be sure to subscribe or follow for notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But either way, stick around and I'm sure it'll be of value to you even if you are watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. And a special thanks to my moderators for helping with today's live stream. Thank you. At least I hope they're helping. They all went missing on Tuesday until one of them showed up at the very end. But I probably worked them too hard. If you have a question, make sure you ask that you use hashtag question in the beginning of the comment. That's so we can be sure to spot your question to me instead of comments in the live chat to each other. There gets to be a lot of those. After all, this is also a community video where friends check in to with lots of comments to one another, which is great. So please, if you have a question for me, start your comment with hashtag question. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Professor Slots live stream. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your slots play for not nearly enough wins? Yeah, I get it. I'm here to help you change that. If you're trying to accelerate your slots momentum, become more profitable, and win more than ever before, today's live stream will help you move forward with confidence. I have over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, so you're in the right place. 71 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wow, nice. Hello, slots enthusiasts. It's great to hang out with you for another Professor Slots live stream. I do these every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays at noon Eastern to help you improve your slots performance, leave with your winnings, and ultimately change your life for the better. And hopefully I'm going to change your life a little bit today so you can visit your casino and play slots smarter. And sometimes the best way we can do that to change slots enthusiasts' lives to the better is when they enter a business relationship with us. They become a client, they buy our online course, they start getting coaching from us, whatever the case may be, because you have ways to take advantage of your casino, which allows you to impact how much you win and then leave with your winnings. I'm your host, Dr. John Friedel, but please call me John. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including there you go. Including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership. Our meeting is tonight, Zoom meeting tonight. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a riot, not a riot. It's a good time where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days. And this is the website that I mentioned here, professorslots.com/30 days, where you get free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. If you're new, how these live streams work is that there we go. There we go. Okay. If you're new, how these live streams work is that I pick a slots topic, usually inspired by your questions from prior live streams, comments on Facebook or Twitter, from emails I receive from fans or from weekly discussions in my Slots IQ membership group. Each live stream, I talk about that slots related topic for about 20 minutes and then take your questions for the next hour and 40 minutes or until whenever we run out of questions. I hit a hard deadline at 2 hours, which is when my voice tends to start giving out. So I'll get to your questions as soon as I cover today's topic, but ask them now. It's a free service, and I'll get to as many questions as I can as soon as possible. Change is a constant. Change is a constant. Before the pandemic, changes by casinos were slow. Everything was stable with slow changes, but not anymore. Mostly because all casinos closed for 1, 2, 3 months, but slot manufacturers kept working. Making sure I keep an eye on things. If my moderators here, if any one of my moderators are here, could you say something, please? I'm a worrier. Everything was stable with slow changes, but not anymore. But During the 3 months, up to 3 months, casinos closed 2 years ago. Slot machine manufacturers kept working. Not the cabinet manufacturing, not the lines building machines, but the game designers and innovators of game features. They never took a break and worked from home. And so we are benefiting from their efforts and suffering when they get things wrong, despite their best efforts. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate you speaking up. I went sans moderators last time on Tuesday. So physical real slot machines are being replaced by video slot machines quietly, but more and more often. And it's not uh, uh, all machines, but rather the most highly visible machines. What, Jan? Oh, come on. I can't be accused of the rain. Okay. Okay, sure, I can. Whatever. um, okay. It's, not all of the machines, but rather the most highly visible physical real machines. And it's not a question that this is happening. What's interesting to me and perhaps you is why. And so let's back up a little bit. The pandemic scared casinos deeply. All Las Vegas casinos closed in 1963 for a single day for President Kennedy's funeral. One day, and that was it for decades until the pandemic, when every casino abruptly closed with little to no advance notice for 1, 2, 3 months. Casinos had no chance to prepare any sort of contingency funds if they didn't already have them, and at least not for that length of time. So when casinos opened back up, they did what comes naturally. No spending for anything but that which was absolutely necessary. That meant most construction plans were put on hold. But more than that, it meant no new slot machines, at least not until casinos refilled their coffers. But what if everything closed again? They asked themselves. Okay, best make sure we double our financial savings. Okay, triple, fine, quadruple, 5x, 6x. It was only after 18 months or so and an estimated 6x recovery that they started loosening the purse strings again. And so they started switching out older physical real slot machines for newer video machines because casino expansions are still slow. So casino floor space isn't increasing and the old machines must go. I was walking through Peppermill Casino in Reno yesterday. I gave myself a tour. As I advise all of you, go for a walk, learn your casino. And so this is Peppermill. Atlantis is my primary. Peppermill is what I've chosen to be my secondary, my backup in case something happens with Atlantis, which stuff, it's commercial casino, so stuff does. So I gave myself a tour. And perhaps you've noticed what I noticed. There are old and new video slot machines. I saw beautiful new video slot machines with amazing image resolution. What is that? 8K? But then I turned around and saw a video slot machine that was a few years old. The image looked blurry. It was high resolution when it came out, but has not stood the test of time well. What I like about physical real slot machines is how well they have stood the test of time. They are workhorses, and they've made casinos a lot of money. Kind of like having a car with over 200,000 miles. If it could talk, what wonderful memories it would share. So casinos are sweeping through with new video slot machines to replace physical real slot machines. And it won't be long before the first video slot machines will be replaced. But old video slot machines must be replaced because their screen resolutions look terrible. They are so hard to look at. You've seen this for yourself, right? Remember back in the day when you watched a football game and you couldn't see the individual blades of grass on your television screen? You couldn't see the sweat on your favorite player's brow and how, now you can't live without those details. Golf, baseball, hockey, whatever. When we get higher resolutions, we don't go back. So casinos have a problem arriving with older video slot machines, but not physical real machines. Those machines they don't have a resolution problem. So a lot of casinos are keeping them. Yes, they're moving them out of high traffic areas, but putting them somewhere else. I kind of gave it away there. Where? Well, they're moving them to low traffic areas and into high limit rooms. What? Your favorite quarter reel machine has been moved into the high limit room? Why? Well, doing so is the casino's uncle. Well, doing so is the casino's solution for you being afraid of high limit rooms, as you should be. So casinos have moved your old friend into their high limit room so you can play it, but you don't need to gather up your courage. But you'll need to gather up your courage first. And what you are worried about is exactly what casinos are hoping for, that you will decide to play something else, which isn't your old buddy, but rather a high limit denomination machine. Or, oh, I just made a 3 credit bet on a $10 denomination machine. Oh no, I thought it was a dime machine. Why? So if you have a favorite physical slot machine, realize it's not long for this world. Play it while you can, but say goodbye and thank it for all the years of good times and fond memories. I have, or tried. Before I moved to Reno a few weeks ago, I went to say goodbye to my Wheel of Fortune slot machine that I'd won so many hand pays on at the downtown Cincinnati casino. But it was gone. Yes, it was still a Wheel of Fortune machine, but not my machine. And I felt sad. I grieved. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. You should while you still can, if it's not already gone. I'm so sorry. So let's see here. Yes. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com. This is where you'll see that here, and make that a little bigger. Okay. That's 30 days to put. That's professorslots.com/30 days. And you'll see the course bonuses, course content, testimonials from participants, etc. So, and I will share the link in the live chat. Okay. Let's see here. Yes. That link, not the other link. Okay, good. Yeah, so let's see what your questions are, and we will get to the question and answer section of today's live stream. How's everybody doing? I see discussions about the weather. It's so disappointing outside. I thought I'd close the window so you couldn't look at Atlantis Casino in Reno out my window. Actually, I'm trying to get a little better at the lighting situation. And when it's bright out, and it's always bright, even when it's 37 degrees, it is, the low is 27. It's improving. And it's always bright in Reno, it seems like. And that means that the lighting for these live streams is a little bit. Let's see. Okay, it is warm in southern Florida. I'm sure it is. Cold, blistery day in Arizona. Yeah, I'm sure it is. And so David has a question. Is there a way to tell whether a 3 or 5 reel slot is better to play? There's actually some what's called advantage plays on 8 reel machines. You can go to some of the sites out there, some of the websites out there and just look for the 8 reel machines, because there's this advantage play choice. I don't recall it right off the top of my Another moderator spoke up. I don't recall it off the top of my head what it is. I could look it up for you if you want to send me an email or sign up for a consultation. And yeah, some of there's people in my slots IQ that are kind of like experts in one particular area. And I have one gentleman, he might even be here, Kevin H. He talks about the 8 reel slot machines having an advantage play, and that's something that you can use to win. Yeah. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you, Paula, for waving. Waves. Let's see, what questions do we have? I have a couple set aside if we need them, but let's see. And I also want to say, David, if you want to watch my very popular live stream from Tuesday, I go over 10 ways, and it's not about whether it's a 3 reel or a 5 reel. It's about 10 other reasons why one is better. And you might want to take a look at that while it's still up. My live streams are only available for a week, so you got until basically Tuesday next week to watch it. Otherwise, it kind of goes to the background because I try to keep the 3 live streams per week, very fresh. And Jan says, thanks for sending the rain. 70 degrees and thunderstorms later in Wichita. Wow. And Serenity says, brr, in the Seattle area. Honestly, Jan, I could send worse. Did you want worse? Okay. Half of Kansas is in severe drought. Thanks for sure. You're welcome. Okay, so I have a question from Facebook. My moderators won't see this in the YouTube live chat because it came in from Facebook. Again, it could come in from Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And so William says, thanks for your advice. I tried your 5-spin method and it works nice at a casino I play in South Africa, Cape Town. Excellent. Called Sun International. Wonderful. My question I have is, why does your 5-spin method only work when I hear jackpot on the screens inside the casino, and then as soon as it goes quiet when we start losing? It feels like the video slots are controlled. They are. Yeah. If you've been to 50 casinos and you see it at 50 casinos, then you begin to understand that, yeah, it's not, if you go to different gaming jurisdictions, this is what's going on. Now, the control, people kind of get excited about the control. It's kind of like, you have a lot of channels out there that talk about, well, it's illegal. And I'm like, you can do anything illegal. You can drive on the wrong side of the road, but you can, do it the one legal way or the hundreds of illegal ways, and they're doing it the one legal way. Yeah. What you're seeing is what's going on. So the way I look at this is that you want to, take advantage of what you see. I tell everybody, learn your casino. And you've learned something about your casino. Now, how do you take advantage of it? Okay. And so why not just wait for the screens inside the casino to say jackpot, and then you go ahead and play. Right? Good to have you here, William. Saint says, question, should I avoid slot machines with license fees? So how this works for everybody is that some machines are based on a movie or a television show or our number one slots channel. So Brian Christopher has a slot machine with his cartoon image in it, and it's his theme, and it's a license, which I'm so proud of him, so happy for him, happy for us, all of the slot channels, because he broke through and now is able to do this, which means the rest of us can maybe someday do it ourselves. So well done, Brian, Mr. Christopher. Should I avoid slot machines with license fees? Well, the license fees, everybody has to be paid. If they're going to use Brian Christopher's image, he made a brand deal. Everyone knows about brand deals, right? He made a brand deal. And, like you could have a video on pinball and what is it, top dollar, if IGT pays you because you have a brand deal with them. FCC regulations require that you state that you're being paid to promote those machines if you've been paid to promote those machines. And that's pretty serious stuff, but not everybody cares about the legal ramifications. So should you avoid them? Somebody has to be paid those licensing fees. Do you think the casino is going to accept those charges? Do you think the slot manufacturer is going to accept those charges? I'm pretty sure it's going to go down to the player. Now, a winning machine is still a winning machine, even with license fees. It might not be as much a winning machine, but if it's winning, it's winning. So yeah, there's plenty of reasons to avoid it, but if they've set it up because they're trying to draw interest to it, on a new machine, when slot machine manufacturer makes a new machine, they put it into a casino, and if they're particularly proud and pushing on that game, like they might for licensing fees games, they stipulate in the contract having a certain percentage, a better percentage, and a certain location, a highly visible area within the casino. These are all contractual obligations of the casino, which the casino agreed to. Now, it's not outside of what the legal limits are, and there's plenty of legal limits out there. And so you might find a machine which is good for the first couple of weeks because that's how long the contract says it should be. So this is a way for you to take advantage of that. But typically, if it's a year out and you're paying license fees, it's not like the license fees stopped. I mean, did Brian Christopher make a 6-month contract, or did he make a to perpetuity? We don't know. So be careful on machines that have licensing fees, but you might be able to take advantage. It's an opportunity for you. Yeah, Chuck is great, isn't he? He was kind enough to say, when I moved to Reno 3 weeks ago, he said, from Ohio, stop by. I drove 6 hours, and he said, pick me up. And I picked him up, and we were going to split driving, but he ended up doing the whole thing. 26 hours. Let me repeat that. 26 hours. He's a trooper. My goodness. And then, he went to the casino without sleeping first. Yeah, so far, Charlie, I do like Reno. Wicked Caroline. Maybe. William. I am also able to look up the machine by machine number and see somewhat of its accounting and the jackpots it paid out and what date and time. And so that makes your method of knowing when to play and what machines to play much easier. Everybody's going to be jealous of you. They're going to be like, oh, why don't we have that? Speaking of Chuck gets announcements in the air and in his studio, one of his casinos, that somebody won a jackpot, and he's like, where? I got to run around and find it, so I know when, but I don't know which. So congratulations on having that information. It's great that you have that. Make the most of it. And so Back in Black says, what? Okay, John. Do conventional table games and random number generated electronic tables tables play the same way since each has a different minimum wager, RNG usually having the lower wagers. Okay, so this is the state law. Okay, so in the state of Nevada, electronic versions of table games don't have random number generators. They have math. They have the math, the unvarying math of the table game. Yeah, there's a random number generator, but it's not about the odds. The math comes from the odds come from the math of 52 cards or 4 card poker or whatever version of poker you're playing, or craps or blackjack. It is the table game math is used on the electronic machines, and there is no random number generator. But then I haven't found that law. It's Nevada Gaming Regulation 14.040, paragraph 5. You can read it for yourself. It's very clear. And it's also Keno. And so other states don't have that. I have yet to find it in any of the US states. I've looked at a bunch of them, and it's just not there. And casinos are not going to pay for an extra feature from slot manufacturers, and all slot manufacturers make their details of their slot machine assigned to a state, and they can't even ship it with that information in it. It can only be installed after arrival in the state, so it can't ship it across state lines. So outside of Nevada, sure, it can be whatever. These machines, these table games, electronic versions of table games, are slot machines. So they're hard slot machines. The reason they're hard is you have to look at you have to also know how to play the poker game for the optimal play, right? And so you know, or any of the poker games, whichever one you're playing, they all have different optimal play, and you have to do that on top of playing it at a good time because it's a slot machine too. Yeah. If you see some advantage, I don't know if you're in Nevada, in which case we're talking about a wildly different gaming regulation, or you're not in Nevada, in which case, everything becomes available. So, random number generators usually having lower wages. Can't you still do all in on Texas Hold'em on the electronic version? Maybe there are some limitations that they just didn't program into the machine. Like, hi, Mike. Could your goodness level of a slot machine be compared to what some call volatility? What some people call volatility isn't volatility. It's just they like the word. It's exciting. And so I'd have to explain. Let's see, do I explain to you what volatility is so that you understand what people are saying about volatility means it's not volatility? Volatility is, I'll try to explain this simply. Volatility is how much on either side of an average return does the machine play. You can see this in different poker games where it's low or high, but the average is this number because of the game math. And so is it always going to be about that number that you win, or is it going to be big wins and little wins, but equally? And so when people talk about volatility in slot machines and they say, oh, it has this or that, they're actually saying you get a lot of hits. But they're not talking about the size of the hit. They're not saying, you wait a long time and you get a big jackpot, because they're not waiting a long time to see if they get a big jackpot. They're just saying, well, I played it a little bit and it didn't win. Or I played it a little bit and I had lots of small wins. And they make an assumption that it's volatility. And again, it's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful word. Volatility just rolls off the tongue, makes you sound smart, unless you use it in a way that, isn't the way it's meant to be used. But then who knows that? PhDs do. So it's probably a good bet as a business plan to just go ahead and talk about volatility. Um, so the goodness level is actually um, so the goodness level, I have a goodness ratio, and you can read up about on it in all kinds of different places. But the idea here is, if you win, is the machine open to winning a large amount, or is it just cut off? You can look at a pay table on a slot machine and say, I'm never going to win more than 1,000 credits. It's the top. Why don't I play the machine next to it with 15,000 credits as the top for the same number, sort of the same amount of bets? I might win that high. So, do yourself a favor and don't guarantee your wins are small, because it can't give you a big win. Play a machine that could give you a big win for the same amount of money. And that's what my goodness ratio is for. Not exactly volatility, but then um, it's not my job to correct other channels. I get a lot of questions here about what do they mean by that, and I'm like, it's not my job to kind of audit them or be their mother or whatever. So if they want to, the how you confuse an audience is you say, I know you don't, and I'm not telling you, but let's talk about it in a way that makes you confused. I had engineering coworkers who held their knowledge hostage that way. And eventually I realized they didn't actually have knowledge. It was just their approach. Hope this helps. It's the internet. Good luck. Good luck to all of us. um, uh, Key says, question, is a $300 bankroll a good start on a $5 machine? Are you talking about a $5 bet, or are you talking about a $5 denomination? Because it's not going to be one credit, $5 denomination. It's probably going to be what? 3 credits, $15. So you're going to be getting 20 bets. I'd like to have, if I'm going to evaluate a machine, I'm not saying that I would do this. I'm saying if I'm going to evaluate a machine, I would like to have the ability to make 100 bets. I might stop at 10. Oh, not this machine, not this machine. I'm going to go to the next one. But if it is a good machine, I want the ability to go to 100 bets. And you are not going to 100 bets on a $5 denomination machine, even with five. So that's what? Yeah, 60 bets. If it's a $5 bet machine, but I think you're meaning $5 denomination, which might be 3 credits, in which case it's going to be 20 bets. That's not enough. You need to give the machine a chance to play a little bit. I like to be able to make 100 bets. And so I take enough for 120 bets so that I can, I do my best to figure out which machine I want to play before I play it. But I give myself 3 chances. One machine, stop at 10 bets. Another machine, stop at 10 bets. Third machine, okay, this is the winner. I'm going all the way to 100 bets. I think I said that fairly clearly. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, Chuck's advice to Key is excellent. Budget for 100 bets. Yes, if you take $300 and you divide it by 100, then $3 bets. Yeah. Uh, um, uh, uh, Beat, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm losing more than winning. I may stop playing slots. Um, yeah, take a break. Read a book. Buy my audiobook. Read it, take a break. Um, and so, oh, New Zealand. Yes, I have another fan in New Zealand I've talked with many times. And yeah, New Zealand machines are ripping you off. Yes, they are. Yeah, it's a real struggle. Um, Good luck. Yeah. Uh, and yeah, Tuesdays live stream just a few days ago is still available, will be available for about 5 more days. And that is something that could help all of you. It's did really well, highly attended. Yeah, with no moderators. Uh, hey, St. Paris. So you're from Ohio. I was interviewed this morning by WCPO, Channel 9, Cincinnati. And they said they wanted to do a bunch of stories, use my content in a bunch of stories. I'm not sure if I'm going to be featured or if I'm going to be a secondary. If this interview ended about 2.5 hours ago. They contacted me early this morning. My time, it was like 4:30, and their time 7:30, and so 3 hours later, I'm like, "What? Oh, what?" So let me prepare, and we had a wonderful. I think we talked for like an hour. When we I talked. This is the second time I had met this interviewer. He actually asked me to, can we do this at Miami Valley Gaming? And I'm like, I moved to Reno 3 weeks ago. Sorry, man. And so when last he did this, the article came out same day. So I did check before the live stream started, WCPO.com, to see if there was any indication of the article and the video. He took video. And so it was right here. And partly that's why the blinds are closed, because they had better lighting for all of that. So, watch for it. You're in Ohio. Watch for it. It's about It's about Kentucky. It's about Indiana. It's about Ohio. But I haven't seen it being released just yet. It's been about an hour and a half. I think he needs just a few more minutes, even if he's. But based on the prior comment, like I said, there's a lot of chat in the live chat. You can talk to one another. And so I try to share some of this conversation about some of the things I said and other people commented about. There's announcements in Missouri at one of the casinos there. I'll say Ameristar, St. Charles, not Lake Charles, St. Charles, and they announce over the air. And so Chuck has looked into this, and he has spotted that they are pretty current. But so that because he's witnessed his neighbors having wins. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen my friends when all my friends were getting hand pays, and so I would watch the website in downtown Cincinnati, and I would check to see if any pictures showed up, because I never approved them. I never signed a release to allow that. And I believe in privacy pretty strongly, but my friends, wouldn't mind doing that. So I saw some pictures up, and I had been there for that win, and it was like 3 months before, and I was like, yeah, it's in the marketing card deck now, and they're probably still showing it with the new owner. And the new owner after that, this was a win at Horseshoe Cincinnati. It became a Jack Cincinnati, and now it's a Hard Rock Cincinnati, and all that stuff is transferred to the new owner. Yeah, but he won. Marty won. Great picture of him. I think he passed away. Sorry. Yeah. Chuck is giving out a lot of good advice. That looks very familiar to me. And yes, there is a question sort of implied here. Free play isn't real money. The gaming regulations have legal requirements for actual money, but they don't have the requirements for free play because it's not real money. If you look at the fine print at the bottom of your offer email or mail flyer, you'll read that it's, no cash value, or if it's cash value for like $20, it's like 0.02 cents, not 2 cents, but 0.02 cents, something very small. And so it becomes something that the casinos get to decide whether or not they're going to go through the extra effort of having their casino set up where they recognize free play versus somebody putting in a voucher or cash. They have to pay for that system, and they can sort of, it's called an opportunity cost. They might say, well, we can get money, we can afford it because we won't give out money with free play because it's not money and the legal requirements are not there. So we'll pay for a system which should pay for itself. How long, how quick, it only pays for itself. It doesn't make them money. It just prevents them from losing money because they don't give away free wins with free play. Now, as far as I can tell, it's roughly half and half. Half casinos are doing this because they can, and half casinos are like, the whole system's pretty expensive, and what if the word got out that they're doing this? And that's not good. So they're very careful about reputation. Eek, I guess. Is there a possibility that online slots providers have common trends in the way they pay out? I have been gathering information, and some providers seem to pay within 3 spins when they pay. Seem to pay within 3 spins when they pay. This is something that's at 1 in 4 casinos. I saw it in the 1973 on an episode of Columbo. And there's indication that in 1960, 60 something, in the first season of The Twilight Zone, it seemed to indicate that there was this method. It was Franklin. Do you remember that? So this is old. The 5-spin method is old. And so everybody knows about it. And 1 in 4 casinos have it. And it would not surprise me. Well, how could online slots not know about it? Whether they choose to use it because they have a financial reason to do it. How this works is the casino says, sit down, here's your win. Now we want you to spend what you brought with you, go get more. And that's what the casino wants. And it's very effective because you just won. Oh, I'm excited. Now I'm going to spend all my money. But what I say is stop. Get up. Go to the next machine. Sit down. Get that win. Stop. Get up. Go to the next machine. Go to the next machine after machine after machine after machine, collecting tastes. You might not even have to go all the way to 5 spins whenever you hit. And it's just amazingly effective. I remember one of my first comments when I provided this video on YouTube was somebody said, what the heck? I don't believe any of this, but I just went into Paris and oh my God, it's like 19 out of 20 machines and I made money. What the heck? How is this possible? And I'm like, well, I saw it in an old Columbo episode, and it was probably on the first season of The Twilight Zone. And it's just, people have contacted me that have been winners for decades and said, why are you sharing my winning method? And I'm like, sorry, dude, sorry. I didn't invent it. I found it. I discovered it. I saw it in action. Yeah. Yes, it's lots of fun. Howdy. I feel so much safer now that I have 3 moderators with me. That's awesome. Okay, so slots is in South Carolina, but goes to Two Kings and the other North Carolina casinos. And he has made the observation that cycling bankrolls and bigger paybacks seem to be back up again. Okay, so people are winning. Wonderful. Back and back. The fever. Franklin, where are you? It's his wife calling to him, and he's like, the slot machine was following him. It's black and white, man. Slot machine was following him, like, play me. And he's like, do I ever play table games? Sure, I play solitaire. I don't play it at the casino. I figure I got enough to do, and slots is what I do. What you need to do when you have a slots channel, when you have a channel on YouTube, when you have a business, is you need to niche. niches, so the riches are in the niches, something like that. And so yeah, I focus on slots. Um, you know, I will divulge that I'm not real good with people. You know, yeah, sure. So I'm talking to like 100 people right now, but you're not in the room with me, which is great. You know, I can talk to one or two people, and I can talk to 500 people, but anything in between is kind of like hard for me. And so, sitting at a table game, it's people. Other people are really good, with noting the flicker in the eyes, and poker, one person wins. Craps, everybody's either wins or loses together, and these social games and etc. That's all great fun, but I honestly, my best friends are machines. I hear them whispering to me. Not really, but I'm just good at them, and so I'm going with my strength here. Yeah. Um, I did have, there's a podcast I love called You Can Bet on That with Mark and Dr. Mike. Have you listened to it? They're great. It's a family, their family's on there and they go gambling all the time. And it's just recreational gambling. And they play table games and slots very little. And uh, uh, so, Mark Duvall taught me to play craps at Foxwoods. It was awesome. It was awesome. I wouldn't say I was good at it, but it was fun. Let's see. Minka's in the house. Minka's in the house. Every live stream, Minka shows up and she's in the house. No, you're not. Wait, I'm selling my house in Ohio. It was on the market 10 days, and then I got a serious offer, my second offer, but the second one was serious, and they're doing inspections now. So are you in my house in Ohio? James, does the system apply to video poker? So which system? I think you're probably talking about my 5-spin method. It does not work in Nevada because of gaming regulation 14.040, paragraph 5. Everywhere else, it's 1 in 4 casinos. There you go. Paula, what method are you talking about? Just joined in. So let's see here. I have a question from Maria, and that relates to this, so I will share it. I see Aminka in the chat room. Yep, okay. So I have a question from Maria, and Maria's question was, let me show it to you. So this is this morning? No, yesterday, late yesterday. On my video, Only Win Immediately, the 5-spin method, which is the method that we're talking about here, on my video on YouTube, she said, please let us know if it is in written form. So I said, of course, see my website at professorslots.com/5-spin method. So I will share that with you right now, so you have that as well. Be careful clicking on it. I wouldn't want you to exit the live stream unexpectedly. So there's the link to that. That's an article. I've also embedded the video. It's also explained in my podcast. Those are free. But if you would prefer softcover, hardcover, or audiobook, my 230-page book is called Learning to Win, available on Amazon. That costs a few bucks. For the audio version, they don't let me choose how much it costs. Apparently, it's about how long is it. So they charge something like 20 bucks. And I get an amazingly small amount of it. Yeah, wow. And it's 8 hours long. And part of that is the 5-spin method. But I also give that away free, along with a couple other bonuses with my online course as a PDF, 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win. So yeah, there are written versions of this available. Yeah, got that covered. So Paula, does it work in Virginia with HHR? So the fantastic thing about the 5-spin method is how flexible it is. I kind of pulled one over on you, on everybody who uses the 5-spin method. I didn't actually say how it worked. I just let you use it, and people used it. They don't realize that there's 2 golden money management techniques included in it: loss limits and preserving gains. Now, if you have a casino that gives out tastes, that's great. You make a profit. It's much better. But if it doesn't, if your casino doesn't, at the 4 out of 4 casinos, using loss limits, seriously using loss limits and preserving gains when you get a hit, works great. That's why it works on bingo machines. That's why it works on scratch tickets in the state of Washington. That's why it works on HHR machines. You win, you walk away. You win, you don't spend much, but if you win, you walk away. That's why it works. It's not about tastes. It's about my not telling you that it has loss limits and preserving gains. And sorry, I tricked you for your own good. Vegetables are good for you. Right. Shelly. Hi, Shelly. Shelly? I was just talking about trying to sell my log home. Hi, Shelly. Shelly is my realtor. Your real estate agents, her and her fellow realtor agent. Everybody say thank you for all your hard work, Shelly. If, okay, I'm excited to see you here. Took a couple hours off yesterday to travel up the street to use free play. Great tips about location and visibility that work for a small profit. Great. Yes, I have an article on that whole Ohio casino. If you go to, let's see, I haven't really shared much today on this. So if you go to, let's see, that would probably be best. Okay. And I'll put that question away. So if you, can you see my mouse, everybody? Yeah. Down here are reviews. See that? ProfessorSlots.com. And there are reviews. There's a couple of different kinds. One is looking at the return statistics for 20 US states. I haven't gotten through all of them. I'm through Massachusetts, and I'm doing Mississippi next. But I also did Belterra Park review, MGM Grand. This is when I lived in Ohio, and it was within driving distance. And Iowa, Indiana, Horseshoe, Indianapolis, amazing place. And not necessarily all good. Hollywood, Dayton, Raceway, Newport Gaming, Connecticut. This is why I got interviewed this morning by an investigative news reporter from WCPL. Hollywood, Lawrenceburg, where now we're at Miami Gaming. And now that I live in Reno, I'll be doing these for the local casinos. There's 11 casinos in Reno. I'm sure I'll get to those, but also Las Vegas is an hour flight away for like $100 or $80. So Wednesday's my day to go to the casino. And I should tell you about what happened yesterday. I told you a little bit about it, but I haven't told you everything. It's just exciting. I kind of blown out of my mind by being interviewed by an employee this morning, by a reporter this morning. Right. Oh, if you want to go to ProfessorSlots.com and go all the way to the bottom, this was my interview with ABC News Channel 27 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And so when I find these other report, when I find it, I'll add it to as featured on at the bottom of my homepage. But so yes, you can go to Miami Gaming. This is kind of what I saw with my returns. With my $200 bet, $250, I ended my visit with a $200 win on a 2-hour 50 bet. So I take $300, play for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I do that at every casino and in Ohio and the surrounding areas, not surrounding states. I was taking that, taking a $300 bankroll and going at around noon until about 2 on Sundays. But Nevada, that's not a good time to go. So I'm now going on Wednesdays. And it might be in Reno, it might be in Las Vegas, and I'm starting up those reports. I'm kind of unpacked, and I guess it's time to go to those. Yeah, so there's a machine called Cash Falls, where to find it. You can go look for it, and the reasons why, where the door is from there, and highly visible, and etc. And I talk about outside, what it looks like outside of the high limit room, and using the 5-spin method, all that. So then let's just 5-spin method. Oh, that is my strategy. That is my playlist. YouTube went through some changes lately, and so if you want to return statistics for these casinos, they're available from Ohio, and I explain how it's set up to have those. This is one of the things that I talked about with Dan this morning in my interview. Okay, so let's get back to where we were. What is best to play, online slots or physical slots? Eric, please, everybody use hashtag questions so I can spot your questions. Yeah. And I'll go back to Eek. The most difficult thing is going through lots of online slots with 5 spins or less is not to get hooked in playing more. Still have to develop discipline. That's true for casinos as well. The number one problem for slots players is when they win, they give it back. It's just goals and discipline, as Camilla says, goals and discipline. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. I covered this topic 2 days ago, Tuesday's live stream. It's right there on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you can find the post there. First 20 minutes, you're golden. Okay, so my realtor is messaging me, I think. So what is best to play, online slots or physical slots? So I'm going to say physical slots. And the reason for that is online slots are the wild, wild west right now. Shoot them up. There's legal sites, there's illegal sites, there's sites that are sort of like, you actually can't withdraw anything. Oh, it's social gaming. You can spend money, but you can't make anything. And games on Facebook, stuff like that, where it's not real money gambling. But then you have these other offshore account stuff that's just like, what a ripoff. But then you have some states that are getting better at preventing any of that, and they allow their physical casinos to have an online presence, and those are verified by the Gaming Commission. New Jersey is great about that, but you can't play it outside of New Jersey because they geolocate you on your phone. And you have to be within at least half a mile within the border, because your cell phone triangulation is making sure that you are in New Jersey when you play. But if you're not in New Jersey right now, then you can't go there to play because you have to be there to play. Does that make sense? And but I like that New Jersey. I wish everybody, all the gaming jurisdictions did that, saying we have verified, and these are good people. These are not fly by night, gone today, here today, gone tomorrow. Sort of organizations. And that's the hardest part about online slots. If you want to go to my podcast, let's see, I can share that here. Yes, if you go to professorslots.com, you can go all the way to the bottom and you can see podcast episodes. It's professorslots.com/podcast. And these are my podcast episodes. And if you go back to, I think it's 165, conversation about online slots with Jesse. Jesse is an IT professional, information technology. He is particularly an expert in security. And he has a lot of good things to say about online slots and some of the dangers and some of the things to watch for. And one of the things that I talk about here is how some features, innovative features from online slots, are making themselves, available, being brought in by slot manufacturers to physical casinos. And that's mostly where I end it. Again, it's the wild, wild west out there. Shoot 'em up, kind of situation, and that's why I would say physical slots until unless you're an IT professional in security, encryption, and in which case, good luck. I'll when it gets stable, I'll likely expand into it. Uh, it's not like I'm going to expand into table games, but online it's just not ready yet. Peter, hello. Going to downtown Vegas this weekend. Any advice on which casino to gamble in? My advice is you're already taking it. You're already doing it. Downtown. The returns are better downtown. You can look them up. I have seven secrets to your Las Vegas visit. You can search for that on YouTube. There's preparation things to do before you go, while you're there, after you return, because you're not going to be going to Las Vegas once. You're probably going to have another trip in the future, right? So part of what I suggest is preparation, or reconnoiter, to prepare for your next trip. And uh, yeah, take a look at that. Let's see. Uh, that is true, Peter. Going this weekend, if you arrive before 5 o'clock on Friday, um, you will find better odds. Unless it's a holiday or something, you'll find better odds before all that happens. Listen for people winning and play. If this place is crowded, particularly on the weekends, and nobody's winning, it's you're not going to win either. How can you expect to win when nobody else is? Hi, Jojo. And now I want pancakes. She said IHOP. Now I want pancakes. But yeah, the weekends are terrible. The reason the casinos do this in Nevada is, and it can fluctuate based on, casinos can turn them up on like after holidays and other things. They have their own reasons to do that. But in general, it's from about 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday to about 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. The odds are very low in Nevada, in Las Vegas. And, but because California comes to visit, so they're fleecing the visitors. But during the week, the locals get those higher odds, so that the average for the week comes out the best in the nation at 93%. So during the week, the locals get a lot better than 93%, and during the weekend, the many visitors from California or wherever really get dinged. Yeah, keep your locals happy and fleece the visitors. That seems to be the plan in Nevada. Be careful, have fun. If you hear people winning, take that opportunity. Don't wait. Let's see. Do I think of Buffalo Gold as a good slot to play? It's fun. That's not the same thing as good. I mean, what do you mean by good? Okay, this is a question I always ask. People ask me, what's my favorite slot machine? And I get looks when I say, the ones that win. No, I mean, which game ones that win? What? How hard is this to understand? Yeah. Do you win? Understand that a particular slot machine is set however the casino wants to be set within legal limits. There can be a whole row of them. They don't have to be identical. They might be, but they have to be set individually, and they might be set differently. The one on the end, highly visible. The locals always sit at first because they figure it out. That's the one that is set with higher odds because it's highly visible. I don't particularly care for games. Now, there is a caveat to this, which is there are some games that have an advantage play, not as many as people think. And if you read the game rules and you realize that somebody Era says, am I a scammer? No, I'm not. What happens when you have a YouTube channel is people like to ride in your coattails. And the individual you're referring to is a coward. He doesn't want to go after Brian Christopher. He did, but then he took it down because he got so much pushback from his fans. But I'm small enough that he feels that he won't get people, my fans, upset with him. I'm actually a little miffed at the guy because on his video he did this. Uh, yeah, he did this with one other person. I'm like, what? I didn't rate my own video. Yeah, thanks for asking. If you want to do something useful, maybe you can ask a question. um, Shelley says that selling a home is not for the faint-hearted. John is a real champion in this process. Well, you've kept me on the rails. Yeah. Yes, you know, you are 808 night says I am guilty of giving probably 50% back before I wake up from my slot win coma. And uh, so let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Uh, yeah, that's probably best. Okay. Um, Again, somebody else is looking for promote other channels. If you can, please see it at 12:47. Okay. Okay. Eric says, I want to play illegal sites in my country. Excellent. Yes, there's actually, outside of the United States, the online slots have been around longer. And so companies have built up over um, time to provide services. And some of those services are to um, evaluate online gaming companies, and they check for under like 15 different criteria. And I just think the UK is great for that. That's something I wouldn't mind doing, but it's just too soon in America. It's like, hey, what do you mean that company was like here yesterday, gone tomorrow? And so, yeah. Um, Jojo, hi. Uh, and you have a great afternoon as well. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, sure. But if you are in a stable environment, and any place in the United States has only had it for a couple of years, and it's really kind of like, uh, yep, yep. Yep. So yeah, the thoughts on. Eh, um, So I don't follow other slots channels. I know what they're doing in general. It is not my job to, even though I lead in education on slots. I have to decide whether or not I just spend my whole day kind of correcting other people and following them around and saying, "Dude, come on, you can't break myths," and then 30 seconds later, create a myth, a brand new myth. And I'm just like, what the heck? And so, and I've talked to a few people about, if none of them have sent me an email. So why are they doing the stuff that they're doing? Because they want access to you. And that's a scammer, just by definition. I don't really have thoughts on him. I like some of the channels. Brian Christopher. I think Brian Christopher is great. I do. He's set us up for success, and he's a great leader. He's entirely education, or rather, entirely entertainment, but he makes no bones about it, and that's what he does. So great, 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 great. And let's see. Key says, you have said that Kasada has a list of payout, but what good is that info for customers? Okay, how do I put this? The odds of winning are not random. This month, the payout percent for penny slots is the worst in all the 6 U.S. states that provide return statistics by slot machine denominations, and it was last month, and it was every month for the last couple of years. That's not random. That's a choice. There was a month in February last year in Colorado for one of its states where it wasn't, and I was shocked. So you can take that information because it's a plan. You can learn stuff about the plan at that casino, and also you can do other stuff as well. I will eventually be posting about Kashada, and people have said there's no data. There's no data from casinos, and I'm like, yes, there is one Kashada. I mean, the more I think about it, the more stuff that I'm figuring out from that data. How, I talk about the seasons, and outside of using the Las Vegas Visitor Bureau information on hotel occupancy, I really can't tell how busy a casino is anywhere in the United States, except Kashada, because the return statistics imply how many people are in the casino. And then we can learn what the seasons are, and we can use that information. So it's a little bit deep. There's a great book called Hench, and I can't pronounce the author's name, but you can look it up. It's about a superhero whose power is spreadsheets. And I just think that's the greatest thing ever. Do I have a frequently asked questions section set up anywhere? I do not. I do not have in general, frequently asked questions. Under my course landing page that I've already shared, under my consultations, I have frequently asked questions for that product. Yeah. Yeah. And well, he's a businessman. It is entertainment, and he is kind of going in a direction. Yes, it is unpleasant I got an email today saying, play online while during the live thing. And I'm like, dude, you're asking me to spend money for nothing. The concept. Yeah, I'm with you there, Jojo. I'm with you there. Mate says Brian has a strong personality and is definitely in it for lifestyle profit. Yeah, but he makes no bones about it. But I have fun when I tune in. Good. John gives us our vegetables. Brian is chewing gum. Thank you. Okay. Right. Yes. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. Wow, my voice is getting tired of talking for an hour and a half to a reporter, an hour and a half here, and I got my Slots IQ Zoom meeting with everybody tonight, so I'm going to take a break in a minute. Okay, that's it. What a great live stream. You'll see me in my next live stream on Saturday at noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific. To know if a slot machine is a winner, I highly recommend this video on how to play it with an inexpensive 4-step approach.